We are going to be introducing to us how to get data into Power BI. Now we have our Power BI desktop interface open. As we can see, when we come to the Home tab, the Home group, we can see now that we have the data group. We have the Get Data, Excel Workbook, OneLake Data Hub, SQL Server, Enter Data, Dataverse. These are some of the most common data sources you will be using in Power BI. When we click on recent sources, it can also show us some of the recent sources that we have used in the past. When we click on Get Data, we can see some common data sources. And when I click on More, I can now see now that I have several categories of my data sources. If I come to File, I have my flat files data sources. If I come to Database, I have all database type which I can connect to. I also have the Microsoft Fabric data source. I have the Power Platform data sources, the Azure data sources, the online services data sources, and we also have some other data sources. So, when you work for an organization or you have a Power BI project, you should check first whether where your data is, where your data resides, whether it is compatible with Power BI. In most cases, it is going to be compatible. And you don't even need to first of all download it as an Excel file or a CSV file, which many people usually do. Just connect to your data directly from its source or from the database. We have introduced us to storage modes in Power BI. And I made us know that when we use storage modes in Power BI, is basically when you are working with databases. So the storage modes for direct query does not work with flat files like CSV, text file, and Excel file. If I click on SQL Server now, we can see now that it's asking me for the server name, the server URL. You need to put it here and the database so that you can now connect to this SQL Server database. This information you will usually be given by your organization or from the data engineer in your organization when you need to work with a SQL Server database. We have the import query, which I have explained earlier, and the direct query. These are the places where we choose which one we want to use. Also, like I've explained, when you use import query for your SQL Server database or other databases, you cannot change it to a direct query later. But if you have used direct query, you can change your mind and use an import storage mode when you so wish. Within the Power BI desktop interface, you can also include some SQL statements, SQL statements that you want to write to query your database. So maybe you don't need all the rows in your SQL Server from the data in the database. Then you can add some queries if you wish inside this place. One thing we need to take note is that we can always go back to our Power Query to do some transformation. So how do we go back to Power Query from Power BI? Under the Home tab, we can see now that we have transformed data. Once you click on it, it is going to open another window for you, which is the Power Query window. You can do some extraction, you can do some transformation. For example, I can come to this people's table and I can see now that I have column 1 here, column 2 here. And you can see that person and region, they are my column headers. So I can try and say that, okay, make this person and region that I have here, the row 1 here, make it the header. How do I do that? I'm just going to come to transform and you can see use first row as headers. I'm going to click on it. Then it is going to bring person up like I have here. Then I'm going to do the same for returns and I'm going to come to use first rows as headers. Once I'm done with that, I can come to Home and click on Close and Apply. If you are working and following me in this project, you will see that I have some bar charts here that is showing, but in the actual sense, it may not be showing on your own. If you come to View and you just uncheck column distribution or check it, you are going to have it. So I'm going to uncheck it because we are not learning about that yet. And we are going to click on Close and Apply. It takes us again to what? To Power BI. And because those two tables are just the only ones that we transform again, that is what is going to try and load again. So, and we have our data again. You can see now that we have some changes in it. But again, no relationship has been created between these three tables. In the next video, we are going to be learning really about transforming data and cleaning data in Power Query, using Power Query of Power BI. So that is what we are going to be learning. This data is near perfect data. It is not what you are going to encounter in real life. We are going to be working with a data that is close to what we are going to be working with in real life. And we are going to get our hands dirty by doing what? By cleaning dirty data. Let's get started.